rest of the day, as long as they touch the football world and not in that way. How you doing, Sharona? Looks like you got a special mug for me tonight, a winning mug.
How about them Vols?
Yeah, I think we missed doing a show last week.
We did.
So you have another opportunity to talk smack about Tennessee's. It was an 11-point game, but it was an absolute obliteration. Like
Not only do I have a mug,
Missouri,
but I've got
no, here we go.
a shot glass. These are all early Christmas presents and wine glasses.
Well, there you go. Wait, you gonna drink your beer in a wine glass? What's happening here?
No, I'm drinking my beer in my UT mug.
Now, before we really get into it, let's just show the beers of the evening. I'm having a Cabin Fever from New Holland, Reloaded. Oh, you having the one that I bought you?
I'm having my birthday present from Mr. Zach. That is quite tasty.
Well, I hope so, because it was on the list of top stouts, and of course I'm drinking my beer out of my Game of Thrones mug.
That he's going to give me as a Christmas present.
Yeah, when are we going to get to Nashville again? I hear you're coming back this weekend? Or
I might be there this weekend.
I don't know. We've gone from the weekend after Thanksgiving, my dad saying, hey, you want to come up for the Raiders game, to my mom asking me at Thanksgiving, hey, you coming up to any more games? And my dad going, he's not. And I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
So what have your parents decided? Are they going to keep their tickets? What's the...
Well, at the Panthers game, and I may have already said this, my dad tried to give away his ticket in an end zone seat. Somebody took the ticket for free and then gave it back to him. So,
oh, yeah.
I mean, not only am I getting emails from the Titans, I'm even getting emails now that say PSLs make a great Christmas present. I'm like, wow, you guys are selling PSLs. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
They had the splashy quarterback signing, but they kind of need a splashy coach signing next year. We'll see.
There are going to be big changes in the offseason from what I gather that do not in any shape, form, or fashion involve Chip Kelly. Sorry, all you rumor mongers out there.
I feel like the shine's off Chip Kelly a little bit. I don't know if he is thinking that the NFL is like college, where guys only rotate in for a couple of years and you just move them on. And you don't need superstars, you just need guys who fit in your system. Well, they need receivers and a quarterback and an offensive line. And their defense was playing well, but boy, did they get steamrolled on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I kind of fought the Eagles because I do think that Chip Kelly is a good coach. Is he a great coach? I don't know. I don't think he's a good coach. Where they messed up is giving him the say-so over personnel. Yeah, the keys to the personnel decisions. And as we saw with the Titans, that never works out.
Yeah, it does seem that when someone does something like new, like Chip Kelly, had that fast-paced offense that really dominated early on, but he's actually not. Their offense has slowed down this year. Somebody pointed out that the Eagles haven't gone for two, and they even changed the extra point rules. Remember, Oregon went for two half the time. They had that crazy swinging gate thing, which I guess doesn't work in the NFL or is illegal. I don't know, but the Steelers are the only team I see that go for two in times where you don't think it's automatic. And it was weird because I don't think it actually affected the finale in the Seattle game. But they went for two early, and then they went for two in the middle of the game, and they made one, they missed one. So, but you saw the Titans' first extra point blocked and almost returned for two. That was a good start.
Yeah, I am. Oh, they look good here. Can you see?
Oh my gosh. I tell you, get one winning conference record, and
I'm excited
you are
about
all awash in your gear.
Whatever.
Although the avatar,
I was trying to give our coach away at Thanksgiving and hire Les Miles, but nobody was having it.
No, the avatar you gave me, I don't know. I want to get rid of it. maybe I don't need to be called Smokey's bitch on Twitter anymore, but other than
I kind of like it.
yeah. I mean, it was a sad finish as Missouri got plowed by Arkansas. They basically lost every game this year that they kind of snuck away with in the last 2 years. And lo and behold, Gary Pinkel will exit the SEC, I think, with a net losing record, which is kind of crazy after the 2 straight 7-1 seasons. So
yeah, that is kind of
it's
crazy.
time for the new. They went 2-6. 7-1, 7-1, and 1-7 this year, and 2 SEC title losses. I think that makes a losing record. So it's kind of Gary Pinkel, and I mean he didn't dominate. I'm not sure. I'm wondering where the Missouri job ranks. Like South Carolina's open, and I think people are more excited about that. Like I heard Mark Richt got the boot from Georgia, and I thought, well, he's probably going to retire and go do the circuit with Tim Tebow. But nope, he's going to be Miami's head coach now.
What they're saying. That is what they're saying.
Oh, but really, Missouri shouldn't. I don't know about like the Houston head coach, guys that are on the trajectory to these high jobs. I think they want someone who will be like Pinkel and will be there for like 15 years and get him stability. So I'm kind of hoping the defensive coordinator Odom goes there because the Memphis coach left and he was at Memphis, so maybe he'll go to Memphis. But I don't know. They need like Odom as the head coach and then to find some new hot like young offensive coordinator because this year was bad.
I hear Lane Kiffin might be available.
Oh, yeah. What about the Georgia thing? I mean, I try to keep track, for all the people I know who are big SEC people, but man, that was like to get rid of Rick, who'd been there for 15 years and wins 11 games every year, and then pick up Kirby Smart. Is he that big of a prospect?
I thought they were going to hire from within. I thought Pruitt would have been the better hire, but they decided to go with Kirby Smart, and I'm with you. I'm a little skeptical. We'll see.
Because when you do that, and I don't know if they had a Les Milesian buyout, but they had to put a lot of money down, and they had to be really sure the guy they wanted was available. And is it me that the coach changes are happening earlier than usual? Like, guys are getting signed. Usually used to be like they were signed around the time of the bowl games. Now they're just like, we've had an opening for 24 hours. Like Virginia Tech hired the Memphis guy, and UCF hired the offensive coordinator from Oregon. It's like, damn, guys, you're jumping.
Well, I think it's because of recruiting. Recruiting has become so big, and schools just aren't willing to, to let the job stay open. They want to give a surety to their incoming classes, and I mean, even with teams that have sort of stable coaching positions, you're seeing. I mean, these young recruits, these young kids, they ain't loyal. The attrition rates, they're changing their minds fairly. It's not like it used to be. Recruiting is a lot more aggressive and competitive.
Well, maybe it's a little bit like the Missouri football players, and these guys are realizing their power. And it's like I can change. Like whoever the top wide receiver was signing with Georgia, and they switched to Auburn, and that was like a big deal. I still haven't quite mentally caught up with recruiting. It's still a bit crazy to be following 17 and 18-year-olds and knowing how stable my decisions were during that time.
Yeah, right.
And seeing how about half of those guys turn out to be absolute busts who don't do anything in college. So it's like, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm just glad Missouri agreed not to take one of those 5-7 bowl bids. They don't need. They needed to, Old Yeller needed to be put down. The season needed to end.
All right, so I have to ask. You keep putting me off. Am I going to get the Game of Thrones glasses or not?
I don't know.
You can feel free to tell me no. I'm just curious.
Well, I don't know. If there's a rendezvous, I could probably pick one up for you. Although I don't.
Well,
I haven't seen one.
I can get one.
Uh-huh.
We should wager.
Oh, really? You
Yes,
want a
really.
free drink out of Game of Thrones mug?
I do. I want them. Not even kidding.
Okay, well, I don't know what to say.
If
You
you're,
know,
I mean, if you're like, oh my God, these are the most awesome mugs ever, and I can't ever part with them, I'm okay. I mean, I'll get my own.
well, I mean, I
But,
just have to
but,
get it to
but
you somehow. That's the only issue.
okay. Well, we can make that happen.
I was somewhat tempted this weekend to travel to Jacksonville State because my wife's alma mater,
Oh yeah.
UTC, is traveling to the number one ranked Jacksonville State for round 2 of the division, the FCS, although I guess technically we're both FCS now. But get this, people, what a crazy idea. They do a 24-team playoff in 1AA. And some teams even play 12 games first, and somehow those kids still get their educations. It's crazy and wild, I know. What are we
Wow.
going to do without the Care Bowl or the
The
Cactus
real
Bowl?
student athletes.
Yeah. But last weekend, Tennessee Chattanooga beat, who did they beat? Fordham, 50-20 in their opening playoff game. So this week, they lost by 3 in the opening game to Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State went to overtime against Auburn. I don't think they lost another game, but who knows? Usually, because they do home games in 1AA, it's very rare that the home teams lose. They pretty much universally win in this round, especially after they get a bye.
All right. So here's a question for our adoring audience: who is the most famous mock?
T.O., baby.
Has to be Terrell.
I think Allison may have had a class with him.
Oh yeah. Did he ever show up?
Probably not. Although, I don't know, was he that? I mean, he was like a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, so he must have been known he was going to the NFL. But yeah, it's pretty rare. The only thing you see, like, he came from there, and they went to the Sweet 16 one year, and they beat Georgia in the NCAA tournament. Other than that, yeah, they haven't done much. But I like the mock. They were the Moccasins, the local Indian tribe, and they changed to the Mockingbirds. And they have like a Chattanooga choo-choo little thing going on too. So you can't beat that.
You cannot beat
You
that.
can only beat that with a Smokey wearing a Snuggie. It's really the only thing that beats that.
Speaking of Smokey, my Smokey kitten has finally come around and is associating with me again.
What, your cats gave up on you?
Well, he's not a fan. First of all, he doesn't like to be crated. And
Who
second,
does?
he is not a fan of the bass. No bass.
Oh, yeah.
And Bandit's like, whatever, She feeds me, she pets me, she lets me sleep with her. Okay, whatever.
So how often do you bathe your cats?
Well, now that things have settled down and we're doing better and things are okay, I'm thinking like maybe once a month. That's what we're gonna do.
We've never bathed. We bathed the last kitten we had, like when we got him home, but these guys, we let them self-bathe. They self-medicate.
They do self-bathe, you're right, and it's awesome, and I've got way too many videos of it.
You don't say.
I mean, it's so cute. They're so cute, and they love each other. They're very uncertain about Libby. That's the other
Yeah, I
thing.
wouldn't blame them there.
Yeah, and she's she's like crazy, and so half the time she adores them, and the other half she's like, "Rah! Get out of my."
I've had enough of your nonsense.
She just doesn't want them getting anything that might possibly be hers.
Yeah, ownership is very important. That is true. So they're getting really big on you. How old are these cats now?
They're about well, they estimated when I had them snip that they were 6 months. So they're 8 months maybe. It's between 6 and 8 months.
Tomorrow's
Anyway.
supposed to be Scatman and Soy's 6-month
Oh yeah.
birthday, half birthday.
Aww.
Celebrate with cat food, and they can nap all day. Take the day off, guys. You've earned it.
Yeah, right. Do something a little different.
That's what they do.
She heard me talking about her, so now she's like, "Hi, everybody."
She brought in kittens. I don't know why. What did I do
I
wrong? I
know,
didn't do
right?
nothing to
I
deserve
know, it's
this.
crazy. I didn't ask for this shit.
Exactly. So I don't know. We do have the game of the week coming up in Nashville. Titans and Jaguars. If you liked it 3 weeks ago, you'll like it again. Except this time they're not wearing uniforms that look like spilled mustard and some kind of blue disaster, like a Smurf. The Smurfs versus the mustard.
It's a Thursday night game too, isn't it?
No, not this time. This week we
okay.
have the Packers and the
Oh, that's right, Bears.
Lions. Are they going to make
Lions.
the? Are they make the Packers wear like green all over, some crazy color combination?
The
traditional man.
Lions. The Packers are. I know, right? The Packers are stinking it up. I've been drinking beer this afternoon. Woo!
Yeah, that big beer is just your. You've already gotten a start, right?
This is the Encore.
Well, next Thursday, a brewery is doing like a bottle thing where they announce their new beer. So it's like a tasting and new beers, and I'm like, ooh, I might have to go to that. So that's gonna be fun.
At what time do we get the dance? When's the dance?
Well, I saw the Travis Kelce dance once, so I'm not even sure what it's going to look like, and I might do it sitting down. But let's see if we can try it. Let's see. I can't even remember. Was it like?
I was more interested to see you do the T.Y. Hilton and completion dance.
I missed that one.
He semi-twerked. It was weird.
I'm not kidding. Yeah. Yeah, I don't recall when you show the NFL films from like the 70s, guys celebrating a first down like they won the Super Bowl on a touchdown catch. Like,
That's
guys,
crazy.
dude, there was a great moment last year. It was like the Raiders Chiefs, where the Raiders guy got a sack and he started doing this elaborate dance, but the Chiefs were in like hurry up mode. So like the entire Raiders team was in the backfield and they got
Oh, yeah. It was C.O. Moore.
It might have cost them the game, but yeah, the Raiders, I think that was their first win of the year, so you don't blame them for that.
Yeah, Justin Tuck ran his young hind parts down and told him to get his ass back up to the line of scrimmage. It was
sadly, funny. The Raiders, the laughingstock of the NFL, now the Titans are looking up at them as well. Yeah. Look at that franchise we should model ourselves after.
Yeah. Although I remember the days when a crushing defeat by the Raiders was kind of a thing. You know, I mean, that was, it was still hard. Don't get me wrong, but, you know, I mean, the Raiders used to be kind of good, like the Titans.
Yeah, was it 2 years after the Titans won the Super Bowl, the Raiders were in the Super Bowl? So, oh boy. The Raiders with the John Gruden offense on both sides of the ball, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I like that Raiders Bucks game because we did the squares and I won every quarter, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was a really horrible game. Terrible. People are like, wait, the Bucks won the Super Bowl?
So is Allison still a Seahawks fan? They've kind of come back, and they're 6-4, something like that. I don't know if
she's fair weather. I think she's sticking with them. She's not like Matt Waldman and turning his back. No, he's not turning his back, but. If you saw Matt Waldman posted something today about the Factory of Sadness, kind of a history of the Browns and how you're kind of like sucked into rooting for a franchise. And there was somebody, and I think it was Sigmund Bloom who actually reposted it, and it was a fan of the Browns actually ranked each one of their losses since they've come back to Cleveland and like how bad they are. And it's the losses they have are just amazing. I mean, you lost to a team quarterbacked by Matt Schaub, the human pick six.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a nice-looking glass there, Zach.
But in random fantasy news, so last week in our league, the guy who had Andrew Luck dropped Tyrod Taylor and picked up Matt Schaub and actually started him. And guess what? He lost.
Why?
Well, Tyrod Taylor had a bad Ty God, who's apparently upset people by saying Ty God on Roto World, but that's another story altogether. he hadn't done very well, so he cut him. So I did this crazy roster manipulation where I picked up. I had what did I have? I had like Sanchez. So I picked up Bradford, and then I realized I want to get Tyrod Taylor, but I can't trade him for Sam Bradford because he plays on Thursday, and the guy's not available till Friday. So I had to cut Bradford, pick up Blaine Gabbert for a day, then cut Blaine Gabbert, and pick up Tyrod Taylor on Friday. And I picked him up, and he's my third quarterback. So that's called fantasy manipulation, y'all.
It is.
I am lapping the field in roster moves, and I have a solid 5-7 record to show for it. And this week, the climactic week of the season, I play my dad, who is 9-3, best record in the league, and I have to beat him to make the playoffs and defend my championship.
This seems to be a theme. Oh, we got the trophy. We still have the trophy.
By the way, my trophy's been like on the floor for 2 weeks, so I really respect it. But
did you beat the guy up to get it?
No, I don't know why the commissioner grabbed the trophy and I got it back for him. So, but it's been weird because the guy who's the commissioner has had the worst team all year. Like he started 0-7, but now he has like Thomas Rawls and D'Angelo Williams, and he has this like stacked team based entirely on waivers. Like last week, he led the league in scoring, and one player that he started was a player he drafted. Like he pretty much shit the bed on draft day, but because he had a number one pick this week, and he actually passed on it. And damn bastard grabbed David Johnson in front of me. I got Sean Drawn as my exciting waiver pick this week. I
own David Johnson and
running back 4.
So I'm good.
Well, it's been just like a shuffling the deck. Like you always grab the wrong like backup running back. Like I grabbed Thomas Rawls during Seattle's backup like off week. Then I picked up Jay Ajayi, and he blew up. And then last week I got what's his name, Javorius Allen. I picked him up. He did pretty well. I grabbed Bradshaw. Of course, he gets injured. So yeah, I just keep adding. You know,
the injuries are just. I mean, it really is starting to get kind of sad.
Yeah, like the Scott Fishbowl League where I did make the playoffs. I lost Dion Lewis and lost Danny Amendola, lost Keenan Allen, lost Marshawn Lynch, Gronkowski last week, and Alan Hearns. I don't even know if I have enough players to put together a roster. All I have are good quarterbacks and like nothing at running back. So yeah, we'll see. But I did make the playoffs in a league. Woohoo!
Good for you.
Yeah.
My Scotty Fishbowl team sucked so hard.
You had guys who you'd have Kelvin Benjamin and
Jordy Nelson.
You had him in a couple of leagues. Like you got him in those early drafts, and it was like 2 weeks later he tears his ACL.
In my flea flicker league, I exceeded the number of slots there were available for IR players. Like I can't even IR Steve Smith because I already have five players on IR.
Yeah, the same thing in my Dynasty League. It used to be 4, now it's 5, and I kept trying to add guys, and they're like, yeah, you've exceeded it. I think I have 7 guys on IR right now. And that's
it's depressing.
I don't even really know what the Patriots. I guess Danny Amendola is coming back this week, but there's like Keyshawn Martin, and they signed Trey Williams, who was cut by the Cowboys, and everyone's like, he might be the guy. I'm like, there's no other Dion Lewis. I'm sorry.
Now, Giselle might actually be right. Tom can't throw it and catch it.
Yeah, exactly. I was just surprised that they blew it. I mean, so here, my typical Sunday is I get up, I do grocery shopping, I try to clean, and then I just cook like a crazy person and try to finish by 1 o'clock and turn on the red zone. And so it was about 7 o'clock, and Allison comes down, and it's like Steelers game is on, but it's the late game, and of course, red zone only 2 late games, which is Punt Fest. She's like, we have this free preview for Showtime. We want to finish season 1 of The Affair, so we have 4 more episodes. Let's watch that. I'm like, okay. Like I was like, I don't care, football. Yeah. So I'm able to move on.
Yeah, I only watched the early games too. I didn't watch, and I didn't make it back to even watch the Broncos Pats game.
Well, I've been automatically recording Thursday night and Monday night, and for some reason I didn't record Sunday night's game. And I even watched the NFL Network 1 hour like recap, and like 37 minutes of the hour was the fourth quarter, which makes sense. And that was pretty good. You had to watch that Patriots run D, I guess, because they were running all over them with a not very good offensive line. And can you believe it? Like, they showed Peyton Manning and Tom Brady like shaking hands before the game. You could tell Manning didn't want to be there. He was like,
I bet.
I mean, he's wearing a cast and all. He's like, this is how my career ends. Dang.
Yeah, one of the worst parts of the game is watching that shit.
Yeah, guys age.
Father Time is undefeated.
My father-in-law, for some reason, thinks that like Peyton's going to be like the coach of the Tennessee or their athletic director or something. Like Peyton's going to be what? What is he? I don't know.
Rich.
An actor, like just do speeches. I mean, he's not going to be a football coach.
I keep saying he and Eli and David Cutcliffe are going to start a quarterback academy and make a gazillion amount of money.
I'm hoping one day there's going to be the Tom Brady and Peyton Manning sitcom. Someday. We'll see. And I actually predict that if, Belichick ever retires, unless he just dies on the field, he will be a very entertaining commentator at some point. He'll get over his grumpiness when he doesn't have to, like, be a coach.
Or deal with the media.
Yeah. Because people were asking him about Gronkowski's injuries, like, we're just focusing on Philadelphia. That's what he always says, I posted a meme to our league, like, Facebook page on Thanksgiving, and, it was Bill Belichick, and it said, we're done with Thanksgiving. We're concentrating on Christmas. That's just a very Belichick thing. Like, we're on to the next.
It is.
Do your job, yeah. So it's a critical, yes, week 13. So I got the Scott Fish Bowl playoffs, which is actually like kind of a best ball deal. I don't even really know how it works. In my keeper league, I have to beat my dad to make the playoffs. And in my dynasty league, I have to beat the number one team in the league who's outscored everybody by a ton to make the playoffs. So, yeah, a lot of pressure on me.
I don't know. I know I have 2 teams that are sure-ins and 2 teams that's not bad out of 6. My Scotty Fishbowl team sucked. I have another team that stunk it up. Oh, my Flea Flicker team sucked. So I'm like, I think I have 3 teams that are probably playoff bound. Two for sure, and 1 I need to check. Thank God for Cam. Everybody was like, why the fuck are you drafting Cam Newton? And I'm like, because I'm at where he's at, where I'm drafting, and who's laughing now?
Yeah, right before he was starting to drop toward like where Tom Brady was going. Like he was just like I got him in the 4th round. I got him in the 4th round of the Scott Fish Bowl mainly because it's 2 quarterback. Gosh, think of those quarterbacks. Like people got Andrew Luck like number 1 overall in that league. Yeah. And even Aaron Rodgers hasn't been that good, as you can attest to.
I got Brock Osweiler, and I kept forgetting to play him.
Oh. It's pretty much every quarterback is startable, like almost every quarterback who's actually in a roster. Like I had Eli Manning last week, and he had like negative points going into the 4th quarter, and he ended up scoring 18. That's just how it goes.
It's crazy.
And Mariota scored like 24, and he didn't do that much. And I had Ty God, with 3 touchdowns.
Ty God. Now, what did Ty God do that made everybody mad? Smile like Cam?
No, somebody, one of the blurb writer, I think it was Nick Mencio at Roto World, just did a blurb where he mentioned Ty God, and someone is like, I'm Catholic, and you can't say bad things about God. You shouldn't be calling anybody else God. And he just shared the guy's letter, and it's like, okay, guys, calm down, football.
Wow.
Football's a different world altogether. We got football gods, so do not anger them. They will smite you.
Cuckoo, Cuckoo.
But here's what's like driving me crazy. Like for about 5 weeks, I felt like I was like on top of the world because I had Todd Gurley, and he is so sucked in the last few weeks.
Yeah,
The Rams
yeah.
are so bad that like they have 11 guys in the box.
Yeah, it's kind of cool because the Titans, big changes are coming for the Titans in the offseason. I mean, huge changes.
Maybe you gotta
And
get Jeff Fisher back. He might be available.
no, and Jeff Fisher's going to get fired, and so it's going to be a good offseason for me.
Although I heard the owner of the Rams was like, "Well, Jeff Fisher's been through a move before because the Rams are moving to LA again," and it's like, no, their offense has been horrible. It's kind of funny. I think one of the reasons why Mark Richt got fired is because Brian Schottenheimer, who was the offensive coordinator last year for the Rams and sucked, was the offensive coordinator for Georgia, and their offense was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad how pissed all the Georgia fans are. They're probably going to go 10-3. I'm like, I'll take 10-3 in a bad year. It's not bad.
Well,
I understand the SEC East is trash.
yeah.
It's not good. Tennessee, I mean, there were what 3 fourth quarter collapses. They probably would have won the East. Really, if they had beat Florida, I think they would have won the East.
I mean, it's just funny because, yeah, I like Butch Jones on a personal level. I don't think he's a good coach. He's a great recruiter. But this is where Tennessee is. Fans are happy that they've got a good recruiter and kind of a head scratching coach.
Yeah, you just need someone there in the fourth quarter to help them out. But they had those issues toward the end of the year. Didn't they win? They won like 3 or 4 in a row.
Well, they had the Vanderbilts, the Kentuckys, the North Texas, whatever.
I thought for a second
Get through the gauntlet that is Georgia, Alabama, Florida. Come on.
Missouri's no longer the gauntlet. Yeah, Tennessee they always had that December. Like they always had, it was like Mississippi, like Vanderbilt and Kentucky, and they would always go like 4-0 to finish the year because they always had this just easy schedule. I mean SEC, but still pretty easy. And Missouri lost to Vandy and Kentucky. I'm pretty sure nobody else in the country can say that. So there you go. Well, maybe South Carolina.
I wasn't going to mention
South Carolina beat Vandy. I'm sorry. God, that's just horrible.
Sorry.
Yeah, bad year. And I don't know. Because it's the same offense they've been running for the last 15 years that scored tons of points. And that freshman was not ready. The offensive line was horrible. The running backs were mediocre. And the receivers were young and not on the same page with the quarterback.
So what is Matty Mott's future?
I will predict probably a graduate transfer somewhere, and then he gets beat out by somebody else. I don't know. I don't know if he actually graduates. Hopefully, whatever issues he's had, whatever baby Manziel issues he's had off the field.
I mean,
he actually retweeted me when I tweeted and I said he was baby Manziel, but that was, it was a couple years ago.
It's really kind of sad, I mean, it is.
Johnny Football.
Yeah.
They can't tame him.
I kept saying, well, I mean, he's been enabled for so long that I'm not even sure that he, I don't know. You heard all these things. He went to rehab. Apparently somebody was pushing all of that because it wasn't him. I mean, he's clearly not. I mean, when people were all, get off Johnny Manziel, he's just a kid, blah, blah, I was like, don't listen to this shit. This is not, these people are not, I mean, they want clicks. They want to write about Johnny Manziel being at the club at 2 a.m. and, rolling paper bills and whatever. But, it's really sad and it's not going to end well.
It's probably not, although I don't know. What does he get traded to the Packers? Or like, in little Brett Favre action? Because he needs to go somewhere with no nightlife, and I don't know what Cleveland has, but apparently it's too much for him. But he did. He obviously wasn't set his rookie year, and he did too much kind of freelancing and close his eyes, throw it as hard as he can, and Mike Evans catches it for a touchdown, which isn't going to work. Maybe next year, him and Josh Gordon, maybe not.
Maybe they'll be, in the CFL or whatever. Taj Boyd's there, doing all right.
It's possible.
Possible.
CFL, baby. I don't know.
Possible.
So what bowl is Tennessee going to get? They got to do pretty well.
I have no clue. Dunno. No
Got to
idea.
do better than a bowl named after a furniture store or.
Well, let's not do the Tat Slayer Bowl again either, because fuck me. What an awful name.
Well, they're all kind of awful. Like even the big bowl games have to be sponsored by a giant corporate entity now. It's not like, oh, we're the Sugar Bowl. It's like the Sugar Bowl presented by AT&T. Not Poulon Weed Eater Bowl, which was the best. So sad that that's over.
So what are your holiday plans, Zach?
I don't know. I'm probably going to up in Chattanooga at some point. I'm a contractor, so I don't have any vacation. So I have basically the Friday off. I don't know. Allison actually, we've reversed roles. Like for years, Allison was, her own entity, so she didn't really have time off, and I did. And now she has time off, and I don't. So she's taking the last week of the year off. I'm not sure what I'm going to do.
Has she turned her thesis in and all that's done? And
she's done. She's got her paper.
Oh, good.
She got a full-time job like during her last semester. It was like when I lost my job, she found a job, and it's worked out well. And she's basically working from home, and it's been good. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
And occasionally I'll be in my office working from home, and she'll be in hers working from home. And she has a cat, and I have a cat, and it works out nicely.
Well, good.
I closed the door. I didn't let them in this time. They're not really big fans of podcasting.
Oh, yeah?
My other cat will be like, oh, get in your chest for an hour. These guys are like, no, we're going to move around.
Yeah, I don't have any. Now. I don't have kittens in here either. I've got, sweet puppy dog who's used to the podcasting and stuff.
Yeah, how's back talk treating you? You still back talking, or you?
I didn't back talk this week. Oh. It turns out that it took, I'm feeling a lot better because I was sick for a while, and but I just needed to get my energy back. It wasn't that I was burned out. But it is so time consuming. It just is. But I intend to be back on Monday.
So listen up, y'all.
Listen up, y'all. And it's kind of funny because there's been so much to talk about, right? I mean, there was so much I could have talked about, but I was like, oh, just can't. I'm back. I'm sleeping. I'm eating. Finally, by the way, I have to tell you guys, the Cheetos diet is kind of awesome. You'll lose like 25 pounds, but you have to feel like shit and feel like you're going to die. You do get to eat 3 or 4 bags of Cheetos, but
And they're UT Orange.
They are.
So you got that going for you.
I feel so much better.
That's good. Yeah, I feel like half our team, it's like cold season. People getting sick, getting the flu, and it's like, I don't want that. I haven't gotten sick this year. We got the weird random weather.
So you still doing your interviews? Have you interviewed anybody lately?
No, I'm actually off the interview train. I'm actually thinking of, I don't know, I got a project idea. I don't know if I want to spill the beans here or, talk it out.
You should spill them because, I will not tell anybody.
Well, that's true. I mean, nobody except FFD Jen is watching this, so maybe Matt Riddle, checking us out. I'm thinking of, a few times during my interview career, I've done like exit interviews for people who have gotten out of the industry and some who have subsequently come back. I'm thinking of doing an exit interview for myself because I don't think I'm going to be doing these anymore.
Oh, okay.
So I was wondering, gathering some of the people I've interviewed in the past and having them like ask me questions and kind of end it that way. So
I think that would be cool. So why did you decide? What has led to this?
I just haven't. I don't know. It's been a weird football season. Like I've enjoyed Sunday, like watching Red Zone and having my fantasy teams, but it isn't quite moving the needle like it has before. And I don't know. This year I thought, well, I'm gonna get into daily fantasy because that's a big thing, and I haven't even had any interest to even look at that. So, and I even read like the Football Guys daily fantasy books, and because I know so many people have gotten all these free, like I have a 4 for 4 subscription, I have a Football Guys subscription, I have a RotoViz, and I just can't keep up. I found myself
Yeah.
almost not listening. Like I was trying to listen to every Football Guys podcast, and a few of the other ones are like, but I've kind of dropped off, and it's not bothered me in the least. Like, I'm like, yeah, football's fine, but I don't know. I've been doing this for a while, and
Yeah,
it's fun to
yeah.
talk about it, but it just doesn't. I don't get the way I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's an aging thing, but I used to get crazy at Titans games, and now I'm just like, mainly because the
No,
Titans stink, and you can't get. You can only put so much energy into a failed relationship as the Titans are.
yeah, no doubt. No, I've kind of gone through that too. I was thinking before the show. Um, football is an incredibly barbarian and violent sport, and I like to think that I am. I know that you are an intelligent, compassionate, awesome person, and it is kind of hard when you see the effects. And I haven't gone to see the concussion movie yet. I'm going to. It's when you become aware like that, it's hard. And this has been a devastating season. I mean, it affects your fantasy team, but on a human level, you're like, motherfucker, these guys.
Yeah, it's a very short-term thing, and I don't know. It was an interesting year in a way because Missouri's football team fell apart, but then the whole situation on the campus happened, and I've been kind of leaning toward people like Dave Zirin, who does the intersection of sports and politics kind of stuff, and it's intriguing to see what's possible on that angle of it. What players who have this voice, but they only have it for a limited amount of time.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to be like automatons. The few guys who show personality get beaten down unless they're elite,
No
super
shit.
elite athletes.
Right?
I mean, you got to do your Peyton Manning kind of interviews and do your pizza commercials and get by. But if you show a little bit of personality, you might be done.
Crazy. So crazy.
So I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting as things kind of wind down because the season goes like this. Like the college football season is about to end, and then of course bowl season happens, but no one really cares about that for that much. Like the playoffs are kind of interesting, but most of the bowls are like, yeah, football's on, okay. Even if it's one of those crazy like 60 to 50 games that they always have.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's Western Kentucky and South Alabama and the Bahamas Bowl. Ooh.
It's kind of interesting because for like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe even 4 weeks, I was not able to really, focus on watching a game or watching the red zone or and so I was hanging out with people who follow, and I use that term loosely. Locally here it's the Titans, and so they'll have the Titans game on, and I watch these people, and they'll have the game on, but they couldn't tell you one single play, that that was in that game, and it's like, you see all this ratings thing and stuff, and when you see the reality of it, I mean, I don't think football is ever going to die, but I do think that I do think that it's changing. I do. I think so.
Well, I think there's so many, I guess, angles to it, but like the red zone, it's like the first, especially the 1 o'clock to like 4:30. It's just nonstop action, and when it's over, you're like, I don't think I've seen a single like one play because they keep cutting back and forth, and there's no
Yeah.
commercials, and you can't even go to the
You don't
bathroom
get
without hitting
vested.
pause, and you're
You don't
trying
get
to like
vested.
hit the fast forward button to catch up, but you can't because it's already going in fast forward. And then at 4:30, like, I'm kind of glad there are only 3 games because I needed the rest. But then you get kind of bored by it all. It's like, wow, a lot of what happens in a football game is kind of boring, like the 3-yard off tackles. And one thing that's getting me is I have a cable subscription. They have the NFL Network shortened versions of the games, so they only show like a 13-minute version of the game, but they always show one punt that just lands. There's like no good punt return. There must be like a punt guy who cuts those
It's
things
like, we
up
got to show this. We got to
because
show
they're showing
this.
only the critical plays of the game, and they show a punt that is like fair caught, or it just bounces 10 yards and goes nowhere. It's kind of a random thing. It's something I like to do when I'm on my elliptical. But I'm wondering, like, I know one Sunday, go Vols. One Sunday, I was like, I'm not going to look at my fantasy results until the end of the day, and it was hard to do. But after a few minutes, you forget. But man, check into your like every minute. You're like, did I guys score a point? Did I guys score a point? Oh crap, he scored a touchdown, but I'm behind on red zone, so now I know he's going to score a touchdown, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you just get too overwrought. So in a way, it's like, well, technically, I guess all 3 of my seasons could end this weekend, and then that would be the end of fantasy. Although I will keep an eye on my MFL 10s. I forget how many. Like I signed up for like 7 or 8 of them, and almost all of them I'm actually in contention to at least finish in the top 2, which is good. There's one where I'm in absolutely dead last, which is kind of fun, and I'm sure I'm like in 11th in our auction league.
Am I 12?
Every week I see the results, and I'm like, wow, look at me. Like, for a couple weeks I was doing well, but I think I had Le'Veon Bell, I guess. Well, I have Eddie Lacy, and I don't know, but yeah, my team's it's definitely fun to look at those MFL 10s. Like the guy who did, I can't remember. There's one where I'm in second place. That's the MFL. I did the one MFL 25, and the guy who was like number 1 or number 2 in total leagues, like he is running away with it. Like he's got 200 points more than anybody else. So it's like, oh, you do a lot of those leagues, you really win. And it is like those late round guys. Like I got Jordan Reed in one league. You get, you're like Alan Hearns or Danny Amendola late. You're like, yes. You get those backup running backs who come in, or you draft,
it's luck.
Like I did in a bunch of leagues.
It's just luck.
Yeah.
That's all it is, just luck.
But sometimes you just have to trust the process and know you're going to catch up.
We should start talking politics. I'm so down with that.
Are we sure you want to talk?
Yes, I don't care if we disagree.
Oh, boy. We've had, we had another shooting today, and just see social media after that is just, you really it's definitely something you wouldn't just like, I get away from this.
We've got deep-seated problems that don't have anything to do with guns, but I think that, I own a gun. Everybody in my family owns guns. So it's kind of a thing, I suppose. But, I've had some bad things happen in my life, too, and I feel safer with a gun. It's
not a part of the country thing either. Everybody has, well, I don't, but lots of people have them. And, yeah, it's not, the president's going to take away our guns. Hey, by the way, he's been in office 7 years. I don't think that's going to happen. But something's not right here.
We've got to do something.
All these situations are happening.
Yeah, we've got to do something. I mean, we live in a society where we think violence is the answer. And, you know, if it takes talking about guns to get at the root of that, I'm okay with it.
I mean, we had mass shootings at a school and nothing happened. So I don't think there's a tipping point because it's happening almost every day. There's a shooting somewhere.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a political football, and everybody's kind of trying to get their point across as opposed to going, there are human beings involved. Like when something like that happens, you say, oh, it's a white male. And like, well, all white males have to apologize. You go, no, it's every human being is involved.
I think
in
it's
this.
megalomaniacs, and I don't think that megalomaniacs are isolated to being white males. It gets this rage, this need to attack the circumstances of your life with violence is not isolated to what we see on the news. Okay? It's what we don't see. It's Ray Rice, it's Greg Hardy, there's so many, it's manifested in a lot of different ways. We've got to figure out why we Americans think that that's the answer.
Yeah, it's like somebody's way of getting attention. Like we need to study people and figure out what exactly is happening here. Can it be stopped? And or if someone's going to go on a violent rampage, maybe they should just turn the gun on themselves and first. I mean, it's just like it's bad.
But I
like,
do think,
people are
and I don't mean to pick on the male species by any means, but it does seem like it's predominantly a male thing. You just don't see women going out here shooting up a disabled developmental center, you know? But where you do see, I mean, you see women, kill their kids and, prenatal, postnatal depression. I don't know. I don't know. I have the answers.
Well, I think people have been violent forever, and I think things like this have happened, but it's just guns make it easier. And I think some people are wanting to go out in a blaze of glory. I don't think it's, you're involved in video games, or if it's, it's violent video games. Like, you see violent images all the time, and people are just.
But I play video games. I play violent video games. I am ruthless as a motherfucker playing video games, but I'm not about to go out here and shoot some school kid.
If Sharona had the violent side to her, she would have beat the crap out of me the few times we've met in person. I'm just saying. And she never has. She's been nothing but nice to me in person. I'm a white male, so we're kind of scary, but
I don't know. It's sad. I think that we live in sad times.
Well, it does become fractured, and I wonder what can we do to connect and feel like the humanity of each person and try to have some empathy for this sort of thing, because it is a lot of the stuff is happening. It just seems like random.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're rolling a 50,000 sided dice, and if you get the one wrong number, something bad's going to happen to you. That's just kind of what's happening. And how's that beer? So I chose well.
It's good.
It probably tastes better in one of these.
It would. Although I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, when you get the Vols, the single bar, I like the single bar on there too. It's like, I think a throwback. You got like a full beer in there, dang.
Yeah.
Good work. I mean, really, but we can get unserious. But the Titans, should they just lose out and get the number one pick and hope that there's some kind of like come out of nowhere like top quarterback prospect they can get a bunch of draft picks for? I don't even know.
I'm going to tell you, I don't think the Titans are going to be in Nashville in 3 years. I do not.
Whoa, what's this? What's that? That's crazy. You think they're LA? LA Titans? London
I
Titans?
I don't know where. I don't know, but I don't think that Bud's family is going to own the Titans very much longer.
I do think that they got to divest. I mean, Bud Adams, I feel like he borrowed $20,000 to, or $50,000, whatever the fee was for the AFL, and that turned into like $1 billion. Plus, he made a lot of money in business too. I feel like they got to, take their money and move on and
They're
get
going
an
to.
owner who's like
They're going to.
invested in Nashville. I mean, the Bills got owners who are really invested in the community because that's
I
what they
think
need.
really if the FedEx guy in Memphis doesn't get a consortium together, I don't know. I mean, it's going
We
to be
need
interesting.
Peyton. Peyton needs to get the team. Peyton and Papa John's together. They can do it. Buy the team.
Peyton may end up with the Browns.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. Remember the owner of the Browns? Everybody's like, he should have bought the Titans. Oops. I don't know because the amount of money you need to buy a professional franchise is kind of. I mean,
It takes a
even
consortium.
even the Titans is going to
You'd be
be a
crazy to
billion
do it.
plus.
I mean, the Pulis had the money, right? But they even had backers. I mean, yeah.
We need the Facebook guy, but he's giving all his money away, so too late.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My prediction.
Your earbuds haven't been eaten. I actually had a milestone. I had my first set of earbuds that broke that weren't eaten by my cats in the past 6 months. They actually just died by natural causes and not because the cats ate them. So way to go me. So what do you think? You think I can beat my dad and make the playoffs and make
This
a...
seems like a theme. Was it not this way last year?
Well, the past 2 years in this league, I have played my dad in the first round of the playoffs. 2 years ago, he beat me and he got to
Okay.
the finals.
That's what it was.
Last year, I beat him and I won the championship, and he was my toughest competitor. But according to the CBS rankings, I am a 114 to 108 advantage. So I'm going to lose by 50 because CBS is horrible on their rankings.
They really are. It sucks.
Like 2 weeks ago, I played a guy, and I was favored by like 20, and he had the highest score in the league and beat me by like 35. And the guy totally didn't pay attention last week and had like the lowest score. So yay. So yeah, but I do have. So I have to decide: Eli Manning, Marcus Mariota, or Ty God at quarterback. Do I stick with Eli? Eli.
Wow. Shall we pray?
I know, and my dad has. My dad and I are both like he has. I kind of want. He has Andy Dalton, like Teddy Bridgewater, and Bortles. I kind of want to do Bortles versus Mariota. I want
That
it
would
to
be
be
cool.
the Battle of Nashville.
Be cool if you did.
Because Mariota, as bad as the Titans' last few quarterbacks have been, at least he's put up a couple touchdowns a game, and he's
He's
smart.
good.
He's throwing to Delaney Walker because Delaney Walker
Yeah.
leads the NFL in tight end receptions. And my
Yeah.
dad is sadly starting Delaney Walker. But I have Travis Kelce, who upsets people with his dance for some reason.
I could not move on from Delaney. I can't quit you, Delaney.
Didn't you cut him in one league?
I
Just
did in
saying.
one league.
Don't tell him. How could you do that?
I kept him in the other.
Well, I guess we'll let you pass this time. Yeah, this time next week we'll
Yeah, I
we'll
cut
see.
him in one league and picked up Gary Barnage, and now that Johnny Manziel is anyway.
Gary Barnage is like a force of nature this year. I mean, yeah, I've got him and like Crockett Gilmore and one. And oh yeah, the Scott Fish Bowl where I got to go dumpster diving off the waivers to fill up my roster.
My team is so bad.
But that's okay. So I guess we've had ourselves an evening. So happy Beer Wednesday. Go Vols. Hope they get a quality bowl game. Maybe
Tag Slayer, baby.
the Bloomin' Onion Outback Bowl or something.
Throw up for what?
Throw up for what? I hear that song in too many stadiums. I'm just saying. It's the Who Let the Dogs Out of the current year.
It's the popular thing right now.
Is Tennessee still doing that? Of course they are.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Well, thank you again, Sharona, for being on, and thanks for everybody for listening. And you should be drinking along with us. It's the only way the show works is if you drink along.
Yes.
So thanks, everybody, and kiss my grits.
Grits.
Football style. Football.